dummy battery. Okay, so this is the head one. Okay, head one over here. Actually, you are okay, so this is the head one. Okay, so this is the head one. You can basically add an NPF battery plate and just connect a dummy LPE6 battery to extend the battery life. So it's like works flawlessly. I like this setup. This is like a so with the head one there are a 4/4 screw. So with the head one, there is a little quarter screw at the side, and if you are just using a pin or tilt, you can use this quarter screw to do something else, just like this. We add an NPF dummy battery. So with the head one, we have a 1/4 inch screw over here at the side. So if you want to put something else, just like this, we put the NPF battery plate and LPE6 dummy battery. We can like extend the battery life because LPE6 battery on the head one can only use around 2 hours. Yep. So if we use NPF battery, we can extend to almost 10 hours. Like it's a big difference. So with the head one, we have a little 1/4 inch screw at the side. If you are using the head one by itself, you can use this 1/4 inch screw to put some other stuff over here, just like an NPF battery plate. We can extend the battery life because it's using native LPE6 battery. You can only use with Jesus Christ the head. Okay, so the head one we have a 1/4 inch screw at the side. You can put lots of Jesus Christ. If you are using head one by itself, there is a little 1/4 inch screw at the side. You can put lots of accessories over here, just like I'm putting an NPF battery plate over here to extend the battery life. Because if you use the native LPE6 battery, you can only use it for over 2 hours. But if you use the NPF battery, you can extend to like several, maybe 10 hours. Okay, so there's another tip. Okay, another tip. So if you don't use the rubber band, so if you don't have rubber band, or like, so if you don't have rubber band before, so if you don't have any rubber bands before any time lapse, so if you don't have any rubber bands and you want to do a super long time lapse, I would highly recommend to tighten the tension screw as tight as possible. If you don't have any rubber band before your time lapse shoot, I would highly recommend to tighten the tension screw on the motor module as tight as possible. This will like higher the success rate because you don't know, maybe your tension adjustment getting looser and looser and it will just fail in the middle of your 10-hour time lapse. If you don't have any rubber band, if you don't have any rubber band, if you don't use the rubber band trick, before any time lapse, I will highly recommend just tighten the tension screw as tight as possible. If you don't have any rubber band before the time lapse, If you don't use the rubber band trick before the time lapse, I will highly recommend just tightening the tension screw as tight as possible, because this will, yep, it will Jesus Christ. If you don't have any rubber band before any time lapse, I will highly recommend just screw the tension screw as tight as possible. This will higher your success rate too. So yep, 2 little tips to higher your time lapse. Jesus Christ. If you don't have any rubber band before your time lapse shoot, I will highly recommend to screw the tension screw as tight as possible. This will, yep, it will higher your success rate too. If you don't have any rubber band before your time lapse shoot, I will highly recommend just screw the tension screw as tight as possible before the time lapse. This will highly, Jesus Christ. If you don't have any rubber band before your time lapse shoot, I will highly recommend to screw the tension screw as tight as possible, because if you don't tighten it, you will maybe fail. Jesus Christ. If you don't have any rubber band before your time lapse shoot, I will highly recommend just tighten the tension screw as tight as possible, because this will higher your success rate too.